Picture this. You're in a group project and everyone else is actually doing the work, researching, writing, trying to get an A. And then there's that one obnoxious classmate. You know the type. Doesn't do any of the work, doesn't help, but suddenly decides he wants to look heroic in front of everyone. So what does he do? He picks a topic that's sort of connected, but completely useless, just so he can strut around, look smart, and soak up all the applause. He smiles proudly while the rest of the group is doing the actual work, thinking, "Wow, look at me saving the project." Meanwhile, everyone else silently cringes, realizing this guy's heroics don't actually move the project forward at all. It's the perfect mix of self-righteousness, attention-seeking, and incompetence, all wrapped up in one smug package, and somehow he thinks that makes him a hero.
Bad news, guys. Donald Trump nor any of his officials will be attending the United Nations Climate Conference this year. But instead, the de facto president, Gavin Newsom, will be headed there along with a large delegation from California. Because we all know who the true leader is.
Democrats and their media cheerleaders are busy crowning Gavin Newsom the climate hero of the century simply because he plans to show up at a UN climate conference that the US president decided to skip. Yes, really. According to the hype, booking a plane ticket and standing in a fancy hall somehow makes him a world-saving genius. Meanwhile, his track record in California is riddled with criticisms, from mismanaged budgets to public outcry over housing, wildfires, and basic state services, but none of that matters when you can pose in front of cameras with a globe behind you. Newsom isn't leading, he's performing. He's taking meaningless conferences, eating someone else's nonsense, proudly chewing it with a smile, and polishing his international image, all while pretending that attending a photo op makes him heroic. It's self-righteous, performative, and pure political narcissism. The reality is brutally simple. Gavin Newsom cannot represent the United States. He's a governor, not the president. Only Washington has the authority to negotiate, commit, or sign international climate deals. Newsom can give speeches about California's policies, shake hands, and look impressive in a suit, but he cannot actually save the world, no matter how many tweets call him a hero. Every moment he's basking in applause is a reminder that this is all optics, all ego, and zero real power. If the goal was to look important while the actual work is done by people with authority, congratulations, Newsom is excelling. If the goal was to actually do something, well, better luck next lifetime. For you self-righteous geniuses out there, Trump isn't attending the UN climate conference because, believe it or not, he actually sees the bigger picture. These global climate agreements can weaken America's economy, sabotage domestic energy production, and indirectly threaten military readiness. Fossil fuels still power jets, tanks, ships, and the grid, and forcing the U.S. into strict emissions limits while other countries keep growing gives rivals like China and India a huge strategic advantage. But let's ignore that logic and instead freak out over a governor showing up to sip someone else's nonsense with a grin. Democrats are hyping Newsom like he's single-handedly saving the planet, when in reality, Trump skipping the conference is classic national interest thinking, prioritizing energy independence, jobs, and maintaining global dominance, while the self-righteous attention seekers are too busy applauding their own optics. If saving the country means being boring and skipping a photo op, apparently that's just too radical for the social media hero cult. So after all the plane tickets, speeches, and proudly chewing someone else's nonsense with a smile, what has Gavin Newsom actually accomplished? Spoiler alert, nothing. He posed, waved, and collected applause while the people who actually make decisions, protect national interests, and keep the country running quietly did the real work. Just like that obnoxious classmate in every group project, he thinks looking heroic makes him indispensable, when in reality, he's accomplished zilch. But hey, at least he looked good doing absolutely nothing. Bravo, Mr. Hero. Bravo. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dose of chaos, hit that like button. It tells YouTube I'm still doing something right. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next round of internet insanity. See you in the next one.